Always get great reaction when Ryan Leaf joins us, the second overall pick from the 1998 draft. His past has been well documented on this program. You can also learn about what Ryan is doing with the Transcend Recovery community at transcendrc.com. And always great to see us. We talk about recovery, everything that you went through as well. You look good.
Thanks.
Yeah, you look good.
Yeah.
You down a few pounds?
Yeah, L.A. living, in the gym.
Are you drinking like green drinks I do?
I am.
Do you do spin like I do?
I don't show up at the steakhouse with a spin bag on my shoulder, though.
Yeah. Well done steak, by the way. Fritzy ordered well done last night. What your thoughts on well done steak?
Should he be eating well done steaks after coming back from double hernia operation?
Yeah.
Well, you got to get your protein and stuff like that.
Right. There's other ways to get protein than that. Understand?
All right, a couple of things that we just we talked to Rick Neuheisel about this, and we talked about it yesterday. Paulie brought up that he'd take Drew Brees over Dan Marino's career. Your thoughts on that? Now, career. We don't know what Brees is going to do in the next 5 years, but
with Dan, he didn't win a Super Bowl, so that's always hanging over the head. But I think if he were playing in this generation with the way it's called defensively now, he may throw for 8,000 yards in a season. I mean, who knows what he's capable of doing? I've got the opportunity to see Drew Brees more in my time, and he's an amazing leader, amazing community member, just everything. So it's hard to compare the two, but statistically, I don't see where Marino would have just not lit it up.
That's what I was telling these guys, that he was made for today's NFL, but he was doing it in the 80s, and he threw deep to Duper and Clayton and Nat Moore, whereas now everything feels like it's a 5, 7, 9. That's the passing route now.
I feel like Drew Brees, though, out of any of the quarterbacks in the NFL, throws it deeper than anybody.
Yep.
You always see those pictures of him with his helmet, like his face mask looking up to the sky.
Yeah.
And so he's throwing the ball deeper, I feel, than any other quarterback right now in the NFL, I think.
If Drew Brees was 6'4" and not 6 feet, would he be better?
I don't know. I mean, he wouldn't have worked as hard.
Because he does have a chip on his shoulder.
He does.
Like he's highly competitive. He's a type A plus here.
Agreed. And I think that when you have all that talent, and it may have been really easy for you, let's say in my sense, especially in high school and college, when you get to that elite level, the work ethic really outshines the other people who don't do it.
Did it come too easy to you?
I look back at it, I think college was easy. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't work hard. I enjoyed the work. It did. It came pretty easy. And I just assumed for some reason that the NFL was going to be similar. And when it wasn't, I immediately felt like a failure. And it was all or nothing. It was no gray area for me. It was all black and white. That was the way my thinking is. It still is, but.
What do you remember about the 97 Heisman ceremony?
My mom sent a picture yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
She sent a picture. It was 19 years ago this weekend. And I sent her a picture of me speaking yesterday in Washington, D.C., and she sent a picture of this one of the Heisman with my father and her, and she said, "Do you see the pride on our face that day? It's tenfold now."
Oh, cool.
And
That's cool.
That was pretty neat. 19 years ago this week. It was my first time ever to New York. The most amazing trip my dad got to experience.
And you're with Peyton Manning and Charles Woodson.
And Randy Moss. 3 Hall of Famers and me. Yeah.
Pick out the non-Hall of Famer in this picture.
It's hard because I look pretty good there. But
who would you want to hang out with of those 3?
Well, I've hung out with all of them. So Charles was always trying to beat me. Randy was. I never knew what was up with Randy. He always had those Oakleys on during the ceremony. He wore those Oakleys through the whole ceremony. I just kept looking down and going, "What's this about?" I had the best night of it because I knew I wasn't going to win.
How surprised were you that Woodson beat Peyton?
Very, very. So, I mean, of course, would have loved to have the trophy and went home with it. But I got the great night. I got to go to Saturday Night Live that night with Coach Price. Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt were hosting. And then we went to a bar called the Town Crier, and I was bartending with Chris Fowler and Gino Torretta. And, I mean, it was a great night for me. I didn't win the award or anything, but...
You felt like a winner. You won the night.
I felt like a winner. And my dad, we got back to the Downtown Athletic Club before 9/11 happened, so it was still the old Downtown Athletic Club. And there was a piano out front, and I come walking in, and there are all these old former Heisman winners, and my dad standing around the piano and they're playing and singing. And I mean, that picture right now, it's the proudest moment I've ever had when it's come to like football, celebrity, anything like that. That is my fondest memory of what it brought to our family that night, watching him do that.
And you get the picture from your mom and you send the picture back and she gives you that response. And it opens your eyes up to what life is really like. Not to get too heavy on you, but your life, your world was all about football and who am I and being a star and all those things. And now you look at it 19 years after the fact and it was so small.
So small.
What you're doing now.
Yeah, so small. The impact that us at Transcend have is immeasurable. And I use this line all the time. I was like, I could have won, what if I would have won 2 Super Bowls and rode off into the sunset? Would my impact be as impactful as it is now? I think that, especially doing this show, I think I've told some of the guys, we've had like 18 people we've gotten into treatment from doing your show alone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me give the hotline number here and explain, though, you've been forthcoming about everything you've gone through. You've been arrested, drugs, prescription drugs. 2 years ago, you were in jail.
December 3rd, so just 4 days ago, was
the 2-year anniversary?
2-year anniversary of me being in prison. I walked out of there, and I got the life of my dreams, really. And it was all a conscious choice that had to be made. You always have some sort of control, whether to go down the right path with some healthy thinking or solutions, or you go down the path of toxicity and negativity, which is the one I took almost my whole life. So the fact that I have a little bit of control, that I can choose to be happy in a moment and be grateful, the gratitude, I mean, I wake up in my bed in the morning, or as when I go to bed at night, and I'm just like, thank you for this bed.
Well, it's probably in the morning when you realize you're not hungover, you're not strung out, you don't need something.
The biggest thing is waking up and going, and first thing is like, do I have pills? And that's where I was. Do I have pills? I don't. I need to find a way to get them.
So you would wake up wanting...
Anxious, just anxiety.
And is this oxycodone or Vicodin?
Vicodin, yeah.
Oh, Vicodin.
Yeah. So it was any opiate. I don't like to pin them down. It's any opiate that anybody has. It's that psychological effect that it has on people. And the willingness that I had then to just do whatever I needed to get it.
The hotline number, and once again, Ryan works with a Transcend Recovery Community, and you can go to transcendrc.com. The hotline is 844-993-3988. A year ago when we had you on, at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was.
And when we were talking, and I said, would you reach out to Johnny Manziel? And somebody who's friends with Johnny at the time reached out to Paulie to say, have Ryan call, and we would love to have you try to help Johnny Manziel. No communication?
With his family, yes, but, not with him. And I understand it because I was in the same position.
Well, you can't get help unless you want to get help.
Exactly. You have to be accepting. For example, I've started working with this foundation called MVP that Jay Glazer and Nate Boyer started. It's about merging vets with players. And we bring each other together, former combat vets and former NFL players, the transition from the NFL away from a team and then what life's like. Same with combat veterans with a team and then you don't have anything.
No, that's cool.
And so we bring each other together on Thursdays. We work out and then we have like a self-help group and help have each other's back. And something happened this weekend where we had a vet disappear on us. And the communicative skills of all of us together found him. I found him. I got him the help he needed in a treatment facility, but he was willing and he wanted it. And that's the biggest difference, I think, between somebody who surrenders and accepts that help and then somebody who just keeps denying it, thinking the hope is that he'll run out of money soon.
But do you know what he's feeling now? Were you in that position?
He feels hopeless, he feels alone, and he feels the only way to make himself feel any better is usually by numbing it with some sort of substance or making everybody think on the peripheral things are okay. And that, for me, was spending money and pretending like I'm the guy that still makes $5 million a year and I'm the famous football player, and I never really truly knew who Ryan was.
What if he really enjoys this? Like he's not upset, not hurt, not depressed, that he just truly loves partying.
Well, I felt the same way, but it develops into something much, much worse eventually. It does. You don't see guys that just go at this level and continue it for the rest of their life. You go to a bottom.
Well, Keith Richards is maybe the exception there. Yeah.
But he does not look good. He looks like he's
Did
been
he ever
rode
look
hard
good?
and put away wet. I don't know.
I don't know if he ever looked good.
So maybe that's just it's lasted a long time.
Yes,
but yeah,
I had the under with Keith Richards.
I would have made that bet with you as well.
All right, we'll come back. We'll talk some football with Ryan Leaf. Once again, it's a Transcend Recovery Community, and the hotline is 844-993. We'll put this on the website, 993-3988. And as Ryan said, we've been lucky. People who have listened to the program, I have alcoholism in my family, so I've shared my thoughts on this, and alcoholism is undefeated. It may be at halftime. It may go into, and that's why I always tell people, you have to want to get help to get help. And until you do, then, you're going to be fooling yourself.
Humility isn't about humiliation. Humility is knowing yourself so then you can help others. Truly know yourself, that it doesn't matter what people think of you. So when people are watching the show, they go, oh, Ryan's got it together. It's not what I'm about now. It's about the guy who's struggling like I was.
Do you have it together?
I'll never have it together, probably. My brain is wired to be selfish and not do the right thing. And my value system is based on my default setting is I'm less than. So I resort to people who I see what they have and I want it, and I ask them and I take suggestion now. That's the biggest difference, is that my best thinking got me to prison. So I listen to other people now when they tell me how to do something, because I know I'm a flawed human being and I can't figure it out. And we help each other. It's a community.
Do you want to hear whose stats would you want? You have to pick whose stats would you want.
Whose stats? Whose stats would you want? Tell me. Whose stats would you want?
Dan, here's 3 double threat college quarterbacks.
Wait, what is this called?
It's a segment
Is
called...
it who's... Who?
Whose
There you go.
stats?
There you go.
Whose stats would you want?
Here we go.
Tell me.
Okay, all right.
This quarterback won the Heisman. He had rushing and rushing yardage and passing yardage, 4,181 yards. 4,181 yards. The second quarterback may win the Heisman. He has 4,928 yards rushing and passing in college. The third quarterback did win the Heisman. He ran for 1,400 yards, threw for 3,700. He had 5,116 yards. Who are these 3 quarterbacks?
So Manziel is the last one.
That's right, Johnny Manziel.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson's number 2.
And give me the other numbers with the first guy.
4,181 yards total passing and running.
How many touchdowns?
He ran for 23. He threw for 32.
So that's Tebow.
Yes.
Yeah. So Tebow.
I said it first.
You didn't buzz in. You didn't buzz in, Ryan.
I thought we were on Sports Jeopardy.
Yeah,
I was like,
okay? So I can have the career or the 2007 Tebow, 2012 Manziel, and Lamar Jackson this year.
Couple notes. Manziel led the SEC in rushing at quarterback.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, with 1,400 yards. Whose stats would you want, Ryan?
I would want Tim Tebow's stats because of his ability to win and lead like he did.
Yeah, he won a national championship that year.
Yep.
He had 55 touchdowns. He rushed for 23, so 2 more than Lamar Jackson, 2 more than Johnny Manziel. Tebow he didn't run for a lot of yards. He didn't rush for 1,000 yards, right? 32 touchdown passes. So Tebow had more touchdown passes and more running touchdowns than Manziel or Lamar Jackson. And his completion percentage is right there. It's 67%. Manziel was 68%. I don't know if either of them were good. I don't know if any of these 3 are good passers, but they're great athletes. I'd take Tebow. I'd take Tebow because I got that leadership result there. Manziel, now you look at Manziel and you realize just how great Mike Evans was.
Yeah.
That's a nice bailout. When you go, let me just scramble and throw it up, Mike Evans, bring it down.
Yeah, I had 5 of those guys when I was in college. I had guys I just could run around in a circle with and throw it up to, and they made me look good.
Do Do you remember playing against Pat Tillman?
Of course. Little known fact, the 1997 Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year was Pat Tillman, and I was the Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year. So we got to do a lot of events together, and then it was our only loss that season was at Arizona State, and he wreaked havoc the whole game. I mean, there's some great video of me looking downfield as I let one go and him just drilling me in the chest. And then he went on to Arizona, and we got to play each other when I was with the Chargers, and then when I was with Dallas twice a year. So I got so much respect for. I mean, it's hard to talk about him actually.
Yeah, and I've said this to you before. I wish the NFL would have done something, and I don't know if there's an anniversary that you do it where you paint the 42-yard line on every stadium just to remind people of Pat Tillman, just so a 7-year-old boy is going to the game and say, why is the 42-yard line designated, Dad? And then you're sharing that story so that story lives on.
Totally agreed. I think that you remind...
if the NFL could make money off of that, Sherman Williams is going to pay them to have the paint for the 42-yard line.
Paid for patriotism?
Yeah, something like that.
And then watching this weekend, the ability for those guys to, make those cleats to represent awareness in all different types of things, and it has to be okayed by the league. When you easily see that they could do that from week to week, but they have to control that brand.
Yeah.
And some of the great awareness, Brandon Marshall's mental health awareness shoes. Yeah. I mean, things of that nature.
There were a lot of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. There were a lot of great moments there, messages that were sent there. Best quarterback that you saw this year in college?
I like Baker Mayfield. I really do. His leadership and how he plays and his ability to throw the football. I know he has D.D. Westbrook there.
Is Deshaun Watson a first-round pick?
I don't think college football's making pro quarterbacks anymore. It seems like the games are so different now. I think Carson Wentz was in that pro-style offense from a smaller school, and that's why he's done better. I'm completely surprised by Dak Prescott. I saw him throw a few passes in the preseason, and the accuracy was there, and I kind of thought, okay, these aren't preseason throws he's making. These are, when the season comes, these are actual throws. So it surprised me totally. I didn't see it coming out of Mississippi State.
But I also have to laugh. When we look at somebody do well in the preseason, we go, well, it's preseason.
I'm in the preseason Hall of Fame.
Were you great in the preseason?
I am awesome in the preseason. First game out of the gate, I beat Steve Young and the 49ers.
You
I think
owned
I was.
him.
Oh, yeah. It was.
How long did Steve play? A series?
It doesn't matter. You started.
It was
I
you.
beat Steve Young.
You did.
Yes.
You owned him. McLovin, you have an awkward topic for Ryan Leaf?
Ryan, why don't you tell them the real reason you're in New York this week?
Well, actually, I just happened to be walking by. That's why I stopped in here. I'm actually here. Anna and I are here to go see Book of Mormon with my friend Andrew Thursday night. So,
Double date.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
I cried at Book of Mormon, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hard because you laughed so hard?
No, it was uncomfortable. I brought my kids and they go to the first intermission, and I got tears rolling down my face, and my daughter goes, "Why are you crying?" I go, "Just to watch a live performance like that. I have so much respect for that." And it was just weird. Obviously.
Right.
I'm crying when I'm watching them do the performance. Yeah, who cries at Book of Mormon?
Well, I'll let you know.
Okay. Well,
because maybe I'll have that moment too. The gratitude piece has to tie in a little bit with me.
Yes, McLeod.
What's better, Hamilton or Book of Mormon?
It's completely different. I mean, I did see Hamilton, by the way.
Well, you're going to be able to make that comparison.
Yeah.
Right?
I can't wait.
Okay, during the live look-in, we've just asked if Ryan can go across the street here in Lower Manhattan and see if you could hit the window with a football. McLovin, will you go down there with Ryan?
Sure.
Okay.
We're going to try it.
Why don't you guys go now, and then we'll see if during the live look-in, if we can throw it up here. Yeah, Fritzy.
Is that okay with local enforcement so that someone would just be flinging a football up against the wall?
You always beg for forgiveness.
If you happen to be walking by the studio, just stay aware of flying footballs.
How about somebody's underneath the window here? Because he's got to throw it up 3 stories. Paulie, why don't you be underneath? Okay.
This is a team effort.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
All right, once again, Ryan is with Transcend Recovery Community. Anonymous, as far as if you need help, you want to call, explain if they do call or go to the website.
I think that just the ability to make a call and tell somebody else you have a problem is so freeing. You're not obligated to do anything. This is a step. We're there as a resource, and it doesn't mean that we're the right fit. We may need to find some other. We're not a monopoly on this. We want to help somebody who's in a position that is struggling, just like I was. And Transcend brings that community, that accountability, and that spirituality that people need.
The hotline number is 844-993-3988. We'll put it up on the website. Also, we'll put up the web address as well. It's great to see you. All right.
Thank you.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.